In this video, I'll go over storage guidelines and share practical tips to help you keep your milk fresh and safe for your baby. First things first, what should you store your milk in? So you have a couple of options. BPA-free plastic or glass bottles with tight-fitting lids, or milk storage bags. I personally use the Lancino storage bags because they save so much space in the freezer. Plus, they're easy to label and seal tightly to prevent leaks. I'll actually be posting a video on how to freeze and organize your milk stash, a step-by-step tutorial, so check out that video after this one. If using bottles, make sure that they're food grade and cleaned with hot soapy water. Leave at least an inch of space at the top for expansion of the milk when freezing. If using storage bags, squeeze out any excess air to prevent freezer burn, and always double check the seal to avoid any leaks. Also, make sure to leave some space for milk expansion. Okay, so let's talk about how long you can actually store your breast milk. There's a lot of information out there, but here's a simple breakdown based on the CDC and the Leche League guidelines. If you've got freshly expressed breast milk, you can store it for up to 4 hours at room temperature, and if your home is a little bit warmer than usual, I would suggest using it before then. You can store it for up to 4 days in the fridge, and it's generally recommended to store at the very back of your fridge, where the temperature is colder and more consistent, rather than in the door of the fridge. In the freezer, the milk is good for up to 6 months, with some references saying up to 12 months is okay if you have a deep freezer. If you're working with thawed milk that's been previously frozen, you can use it within 2 hours at room temperature and up to 24 hours in the fridge. And this is up to 24 hours from the time that it's fully thawed, not when you take it out of the freezer. One thing to remember is that you should never refreeze thawed milk. Finally, if you have any leftover milk from a feeding, so if your baby doesn't finish the bottle, you can use it within 2 hours, but after that you'll have to throw it away because of saliva contamination. I'll link the full CDC and the Leche League guidelines in the description if you want to read more. Now that we know how long milk lasts, let's talk about how to freeze it properly so that none of it goes to waste. First, always make sure to wash your hands thoroughly, just to avoid contaminating the storage container or the milk bags. You can always combine milk from different pumping sessions, but only if they were pumped within the same 24 hours. Just make sure to chill the fresh milk in the fridge for at least 30 to 60 minutes before mixing. You might ask, how much should I freeze at one time? It's generally recommended to freeze milk in smaller amounts and in various quantities, so between 2 to 4 ounces or 60 to 120 mils. Smaller portions tend to thaw faster and you won't end up wasting as much. I personally store them in 30 ml and 60 ml quantities so that I can start by feeding my baby with 60 mils and then top up if needed. Make sure to label each bag with the date and the volume of milk. I would suggest using a permanent marker so that it doesn't rub off. And if you're combining milk from different days, go with the oldest date. Finally, when you're ready to freeze your milk, make sure to lay the bags flat in the freezer. That way, when they're frozen, you can stack them up like bricks and it saves a ton of space. So your milk is frozen, now what? Here's the best way to thaw your milk while keeping all those nutrients intact. The first option is to thaw the milk in the fridge overnight. This is actually the safest and the best method, but it does require some planning ahead. For quicker thawing, such as when you're in a rush, you can place the bag in a bowl of warm water or hold it under lukewarm running water. A milk warmer would work as well, but remember never to boil or microwave your milk. Microwaving your milk can create hot spots that burn the baby's mouth and can destroy the precious nutrients. Here are some tips when feeding thawed milk. Before feeding, you might notice that the milk has separated into the fatty cream layer and the more watery layer, and that's totally normal. All you have to do is gently swirl or massage the bag to mix the fat back in. Milk might smell soapy or metallic after freezing, and that's due to lipase, a naturally occurring enzyme. It's still safe to drink, and many babies will still accept the milk, but if your baby refuses it, you can try a technique called scalding milk before freezing it. Just note that this does destroy some of the antibodies in the milk. You can look up more specific directions on how to scald milk online. One big mistake that you want to avoid is to mix formula with breast milk in the same bottle. It actually reduces the breast milk's protective benefits and can encourage bacterial growth. Finally, if your milk smells rancid or has a weird texture such as stringiness, just toss it. Breast milk usually smells sweet or slightly metallic, but never sour or spoiled. So here's a quick recap of the main points. Freshly expressed breast milk is good for up to 4 hours at room temperature, up to 4 days in the fridge, and up to 6 months in the freezer, but up to 12 months in a deep freezer. Remember never to refreeze thawed milk, and always thaw the oldest milk first. Breastfeeding and pumping are a lot of hard work, but storing milk the right way makes sure none of it goes to waste. Hopefully these tips help make the process a little easier for you. And if you happen to know another mom who could use this information, send this video their way. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.